Jungkook stood there, listening to the very important piece of information a certain businessman was giving him. His focus has been dull lately. A man who had sharp senses and was always calculated, he couldn't maintain his focus. The culprit was only one. Her, Ryan, the one who worked under him. She was just an employee like 100 others. She was dressed in a black mermaid dress tonight. It covered her body completely from head to toe, unlike the other ladies present there. Jungkook was aware she was being judged for wearing extra modest clothes during such after party event. There was something about this woman that bugged him. She was married. He was single. He had no interest in women up till he saw her. It was weird. He never felt for anyone just to hold such burn in his heart for someone who was already taken. It was one sided love, feeling, emotion, obsession, and hate. He hated her equally. Every time she put on a smile, every time she acted kind, he hated it. It was a show. Everything she was a show. What do you think about it, Mr. John? The other man asked when he was done. Jungkook replied to him professionally as if he heard him quite well, as if the lady a few feet away from him didn't have his whole attention to herself. The party continued for hours. It was all about business and putting on fake smiles and greetings. Jungkook left early. Once wine was done, she looked around for her boss, but she didn't find him. Considering he must have left, she decided to leave as well. Goosebumps. Every time she's out of her home, her skin is constantly high on alert. It was never a condition since childhood. In fact, since the day she started working in her recent company, the hair on the back of her neck never sits. She can't breathe most of the times. It's as if someone is watching her constantly. Every breath she takes is getting counted by that someone. Yet, never once she found anyone who could be the reason behind it. Even now, as she stepped outside the venue, her breathing was heavy. She felt someone's stare digging holes in the back of her head. Vine grew too used to this, that when she feels that certain someone is not staring at her, she feels unsafe and unprotected. It was such a twisted feeling. She took a cab and went back home. It was late. She never returned home this late before. Paying the cab driver, she got home safely, completely unaware of the reason behind those creeps. But he knew. Since the day she entered his building, it was his eyes following her everywhere. Every morning she stepped out of home, every night she returned home after work. He was the only one, always following her, staying in the shadows. It could be his obsession, but for him it was more of protection. Even tonight, he wanted to kill her husband for letting her return home alone this late at night, while she was dressed up this pretty. He stood by the wall at a distance as he watched her getting off the cab and fixing her dress. She took out a mirror, getting under the street light, and started wiping off her lipstick. Next, she removed her jewelry and her heels, replacing them with the slippers she kept in the bag. Jungkook found it weird, yet that burn inside of his heart never soothed once. Since the day he found out she was married, dropping her home every night to her husband, and another man, while hiding in the shadows, killed him every single night. She was about to type in her passcode, but the door opened up itself. It was her husband dressed in a loose t shirt and shorts. He looked quite messy. Vine, were you sleeping? Did I wake you up? Surprisingly, Jungkook could hear. It was too late and too quiet. He could even hear her faint breathing. Neil, is this the time you're coming home? He yelled. His voice was too irritating. Jungkook had to practically shut his eye for a moment. The next moment, he held onto Vine's hair and pulled them. She winced. Vine, I'm sorry. Neil, please. I have to do it, otherwise, I won't be paid. Neil, does your company pay you for extra hours too? Do you think I'm an idiot? Where were you, huh? Who were you with? He pulled onto her dress from her neck, looking for any signs of hickeys or whatsoever. Jungkook could have shot him down before he even laid his hand on her. Something, something stopped him. Belief. A belief that she wouldn't allow him to abuse her. Yet all she did was apologize and trying to make him believe that she was clean. He was sick of it. Jungkook truly hated her for being a pushover every time, even when it was not needed. One, Neil, honey, it's for us. Let's go inside. We'll disturb the neighbors. Neil, remember this wine. The day I find you with someone behind my back, I'll kill you. He let her go. She hardly found her balance before he slapped her right across her face. Neil, I'm hungry. Get me food. Wine, I'm sorry. I'll get it for you right now. Neil grabbed her hand with such force to drag her inside. Jungkook leaned off the wall, his pace normal. Yet every step he took announced terror. Jungkook, let her go. He stopped a few feet away from them, clad in a black hood and jeans, almost becoming warm with the shadows. Neil and Vine stopped. He looked at Jungkook and raised bro. Nail, who are you? And the hell did you say? Let her go. She's my wife. Mind your so-called business. Nail's eyes shifted to Vine. Vine panicked. He was going to suspect her for this too. Vine, I didn't know him. Nail, I swear I didn't call him. Jungkook caught in between them. He held Nail's wrist and pulled him away from Vine, forcing him to let her go. The next moment they knew, Nail was screaming out in pain and Vine's heart, bones breaking. He practically broke Nail's hand single handedly. Nail, no matter how much he tried, couldn't even make Jungkook budge from his position. Vine was horrified, yet she didn't complain. Her husband's hand was broken, but she didn't complain. Jungkook, don't make me repeat next time. To be continued.